Gregg Rosenthal, this is from the Mina Kime Show, with his thoughts on the Browns' X Factor for 2025.
I chose a pretty random one who's established as a very good player, and that's Denzel Ward. And the reason I did was because last year it really stuck with me. There were about 3 games last season when Denzel Ward took over. When he looked like the best cornerback in the league, and everyone had this idea because those 3 games, you just don't see that out of cornerbacks too often, that he's this amazing player. And he is an amazing player overall, but I think like the rest of the defense, he got dragged down. And he had some bad games too. He had some games where he got picked on. Some of his metrics in terms of yards per catch and stuff, it was pretty up and down. And to me, he felt symbolic of the defense in general and the secondary in general, where it's also Martin Emerson is there, is Greg Newsome. Both of them are in contract years. Both of them struggled. They were supposed to be kind of the core of this defense for Jim Schwartz that at this time a year ago we thought was going to be a top 10 defense. They were one of the best in the league. So to me, I thought Ward was a good pick, kind of representing that. We know it's in there. If for whatever reason the defense is on the same page and you're getting the best Denzel Ward at 28, 29 years old, he is a difference maker.
Lance, I don't know about Ward being the difference maker. We'll get to the secondary in a minute. When you look at this Browns defense as it potentially lines up in 2025, on paper, what do you see?
Well, I think there's a couple guys that got to play.
You're good.
Can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah, go.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. So there's a couple guys that I think I really got to stand out. I think a key guy is going to be Carson Schlesinger, right? He's a guy who was drafted without JOK playing. He's a guy that has to be really good on that second level. I don't really have any concerns if the offense is better about the secondary or the defensive line. I think that they're both going to be elite. It's that second level with Hicks and Diabate and Carson Schlesinger. Those are the guys who have to play at a high level because of the fact JOK is not there. If they can play at high level, if they can carry their end of the, do their part, because I know the defensive line and I really feel like the secondary will be really solid. If those guys can do their part, they'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I am. Again, on a 3-win team, I get why nationally they're getting criticized. The defensive pieces parts are almost identical to the one 2 years ago that was, a top 5 defense. And you could argue if Mason Graham is what they think he is, they might even be a little bit better.
Well, you and I have talked about it, right? So that's complementary football at its best, and that's why their defense struggled a little bit. It had nothing to do with them. It has to be on the field too much. It's the idea of pressing because you know your offense is not going to score a lot of points. When you press, you try to make plays that you try to kind of go outside your cylinder. What I mean by that is my dad used to always say, stay inside your cylinder. Whatever your job is, do your job because that will help your team. So it's kind of that internal selfishness where if I do my job, that'll help our team. And when your offense is really, really struggling, that's what some of those defenders did. They tried to do too much. And when you try to do too much, you end up making mistakes. You end up getting beat deep. You end up getting upfield as a defensive lineman. You're trying to make a play, and in trying to make a play, you make mistakes. So if the offense can be balanced, then they'll be in good shape. If the offense is not balanced, the defense will struggle again. That's why they have to make sure they punt the football if it's long yardage. They have to make the opposing offense go long yardage and create some turnovers. That's the one thing they haven't done, is they haven't created a lot of turnovers the last couple of years. That's the next step for this defense, in my opinion.